All right, says the Shulchan Aruch. We're up to Siman Nun. Siman Nun. Tam lama oimrim mishnas Eizehu Mekoman. What is the reason that we say Eizehu Mekoman in Shachris every morning? Kavu lishnois acha parshas haTomid. After we learn or read the parsha of Tomid, the carbon Tomid shel Shachris, we say Perek Eizehu Mekoman or Braisa de Yishmael. So we're all familiar with that just before Baruch Shama, before Miz Moshe. Kadei sheyizke kol adam lilmoid b'chol yom mikra, Mishnah, or Gemara. So that every day a person minimally can learn. We say the Pesukim Yivarechacha, and then he learns some Mishnayos, Eizehu Mekoman, and Gemara is Rabbi Yishmael. Why? The Braisa of Rabbi Yishmael have a Mekoman Gemara. The Braisa of Rabbi Yishmael is in lieu of Gemara. Sham Medrash Gemara because it's like a Gemara. Says the Mishnah Berurah. Yesh Mekomas she'ein oimrim Eizehu Mekoman beis ha'ovel. There are those places that don't say Eizehu Mekoman in a shiva house, in a house of an ovel. Mipnei she'osu b'Talmud Torah, because it's learning Mishnayos, and therefore one shouldn't do it. Ve'ein zeh nochen. Says the Mishnah Berurah, this is not correct. Shekol shehu seida hayom ein by mishum Talmud Torah le'ovel. This is part of tefillah, and therefore it's not considered Talmud Torah. K'mo shenifsek b'siman tov kuf nun dalet siv dalet. Okay. Sham Medrash b'Gemara. The shaila is, why this parak? Baruch Hashem, we've got a big Gemara. Why do we dafka choose this Braisa of Rabbi Yishmael Omer, and indeed also Eizehu Mekoman for the Mishnah? Why do we dafka choose that? Says the Mishnah Berurah Sif Cotton Base, Ubachru b'Braisa zu, we dafka chose Rabbi Yishmael Omer b'pnei shei tchilas Torahs Kohanim, because this is the very beginning of Torahs Kohanim, shu rosh l'chol pashas karbonos, which is the beginning of Vayikra, and therefore it's going to be a good introduction to all the whole parsha of karbonos, and therefore kava'ua etzel karbonos, we sort of fixed it straight after we've lain or read, said all the karbonos, and therefore we do that's a good intro, it's a good connector. V'chein baruch Mishnah's Eizehu Mekoman. Why do we dafka choose the parak of Mishnayos of Eizehu Mekoman? For kavuach haTomid, mishum shenema. Very interesting. Two reasons are going to be given. Number one, mishum shenema of v'chol makom muktar umugash lishmi. What does that mean? Can you be makdir, can you offer up, and can you be magish, can you bring close karbonos anywhere? Not true. Ella, you've got to do it in the Beis HaMikdash. Ella is something referring to something else. Ella edu Talmidei Chachamim she'oskin b'hilchos avoda b'chol yom u'b'chol makom shehem. It's referring to Talmidei Chachamim that every day, wherever they are, they learn these halachas. Ma le'ani aleihem ki'ilu makdir magishin lishmi. When they say Eizehu Mekoman, wherever they may be, when they're learning the halachas of the karbonos, it's as if they're being makdir and magish, offering up and bringing things close to me. That's reason number one. The oid, and the second reason, perhaps more well known, it's one of the very rare parokim where there is not a single machlokas throughout Eizehu Mekoman. You'll read it today. You'll see it. Because Eizehu Mekoman is a clear halacha set to Moshe Rabbeinu, and there's no machlokas, and therefore we'd like to start the day without machlokas. It only counts as limud haTorah if you understand. But if you don't understand, you've got to learn, you've got to understand it. Otherwise it's not counted as limud haTorah. The dafka tefillah, with tefillah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows the deep kavanas in our hearts. But if you're just sort of reciting something without understanding it, that's not called limud. And certainly people who are unlearned, they should understand the meaning. That it should count minimally for Mikra, Chumash, Mishnah and Gemara that a person needs to learn every day. Kosev Shla, the Shla writes, you should do it in the nigun of Mishnayos. Now there's a very interesting footnote. Look at number 3 about learning something if you don't understand. Is it really not learning? It doesn't count as limud haTorah. So take a look at number 3. It's still appropriate to learn Torah even if you don't fully understand it. In the world to come, even the bits that we struggle to understand in this world, so long as we worked hard at it, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will open our minds and we'll be able to understand it. And that's only if you didn't put in the effort to understand it. And if you tried hard to understand it, even if you weren't matzliach, that's the famous Chaim. We say it at the end of the Siyum, Onu Amelim V'Heim Amelim. So the Chavetz Chaim says, we say Onu Amelim Mekablim Schar, V'Heim Amelim Ve'ein Mekablim Schar. So the Chavetz Chaim gives a mashal. You go to a tailor, and he makes you make a suit, and you give him money, and he comes along after 2 weeks, you get your suit back, and it doesn't fit. So you say to him, "I'm sorry, sir, I'm not paying you." But he said, "But I worked hard for 2 weeks on it." Okay, I'm sorry, but it's not fit for purpose. It doesn't fit me, so you don't pay him. When it comes to Talmud Torah, you can schwitz over something for a long time, at Gemara, Rashi, Tosfos, Mishnah Berurah, whatever it may be. You put in the effort, we get schar, even if we didn't understand it. That's one sort of consolation. There's another consolation, which is a famous ma'aser of Gustman. Of Gustman, you may have heard of him. He was the Netzach Yisrael in Rechavia. He was the famous, he was a dayan at the age of 21 on the base in Reb Chaim Eizehu. Right, can you imagine? And so there's a story with him when he was a young boy. Rav Gustman's father brought him to the Chavetz Chaim, and Rav Gustman had a problem. Yeah, I think he was 8 or 9 years old. What was an 8 or 9 year old's problem? That he was learning. I think in the end of Bom Basra, there's no Rashi's, Rashbam, and he was up to, I think it was Beis Kur. The 7th parak of Bom Basra is called Beis Kur, and they're long Rashbams, and there's a lot of calculations and mathematics, and it's complicated. And the young 8 or 9 year old Rav Gustman, the next day he came back to learn his Rashbam, and he'd forgotten yesterday's one, all the detailed mathematics, and he was misyash a little bit. So the Chavetz Chaim said to him, to give him chizuk, he said, Limud HaTorah, he said, is like a cataract. What's pshat? When you've got a cataract, you've got perfect vision. It's just there's like a little film on top of the lens, on top of the eye, that makes there's a blockage. You remove the cataract, you've got perfect vision. Yeah, it's a common operation in older people. He says, after 120, HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a gezeira of shikha in this world. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes away the shikha after 120, it's all back, it's all there. So therefore, you tried hard, you understood it one day, whatever you understood, it will come back to you. So don't worry about it. So it's a chizuk, it's a chizuk for all of us. We all, the next day, one guy, he gave a daf yomi shir. It was a bit naughty, but he gave the daf yomi shir. He was a step-in visiting, and he wasn't a fan of daf yomi. He said it's too quick and you don't remember it. So he gave the shir he was covering the rabbi or whatever it was. So he gave the shir, and then he felt that after one day, people, moving on to the next day, you haven't really understood day one. The next day, he went into the shir, and he did yesterday's daf. Imagine? He did yesterday's daf. But the point is, if you work hard one day, and after 120, it will be there. So the guy does daf yomi, is a shasid. Okay, that's the end of that simon.